Let me ask you something that might be uncomfortable. Why are you so tired? Not just physically, I mean mentally, emotionally. You're drained, not because you're lazy or broken, but because you've been holding on for too long. Holding on to people who've already let go. Holding on to outcomes you can't control. Holding on to perfection, validation, timelines that weren't even yours to begin with. And what if I told you, the very thing you're clinging to is what's holding you back? Because here's the truth. The moment you stop forcing, chasing, controlling, life starts to move, for real. In this video, we're going to break down the 6 hidden patterns that keep you stuck and how releasing them can transform your entire life. So, take a breath, grab your popcorn, because once you understand the truth about letting go, you won't just change how you think, you'll change how you live. Let's begin. Number 1, when caring becomes a cage. We all want to be good people. We want to show up, support, love, be present. But sometimes caring becomes carrying. You carry people's emotions like they're your own. You carry the weight of other people's silence. You carry guilt for things that were never yours to fix. It starts with love, but it turns into emotional labor. And here's the metaphor I want you to remember. Imagine holding a glass of water at arm's length. For a minute, it's fine, but hold it for hours, and it becomes unbearable. It's not the water that's heavy, it's how long you've been holding it. The same goes for your emotional investments. Not every relationship is meant to be held forever. Not every problem is yours to solve. And sometimes caring too much about everything means you're not caring enough about yourself. So, ask yourself honestly, where are you carrying weight that no longer belongs to you? Number 2, the trap of control, why forcing doesn't work. You plan, you strategize, you imagine how things should go, and when they don't, you spiral, you blame yourself, you try harder. But here's the problem. Life isn't a chessboard, it's the ocean. You can't control the tides, you can only learn to sail. And yet, we treat our lives like machines. We want predictable input, output. You do everything right in a relationship, but they still leave. You follow all the rules, but the opportunity still slips through. Why? Because control is an illusion. You're gripping the steering wheel of a car that's on autopilot. Letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. It means releasing your attachment to how it must go. It's saying, I'll show up fully, but I trust what's meant for me won't require force. And that is freedom. Number 3, overthinking, the enemy of peace. Let's be real for a second. How many of you have experienced that endless loop in your mind where you're stuck on a thought that just keeps coming back, no matter how much you try to push it away? You start off thinking, I'll just figure this out, but then one thought leads to another, and suddenly you're spiraling into what feels like an endless mental maze. Overthinking is so common, yet so destructive. We've all been there, right? We replay conversations from the past, we imagine every possible worst-case scenario for the future, or we keep second-guessing our choices like it's some sort of mental exercise. But here's the reality. Overthinking isn't just a bad habit. It's a defense mechanism that tricks you into believing you're controlling the situation. In reality, all you're doing is feeding your anxiety and removing yourself from the present moment. Think of overthinking like trying to fix a leaky faucet by holding your hand over the hole. Instead of solving the problem, you're just stopping the flow temporarily. And while you're holding on to the faucet, you're missing out on other solutions, other paths forward. You're stuck in the illusion that by thinking more, you'll come to some grand revelation. But it's just the opposite. You start to believe that your constant analysis is productive, but it's not. You're not preparing for anything. You're just draining your energy. The real solution, let go. Yes, let go of the need to predict the outcome. Let go of the need to micromanage the future, and let go of thinking you have to have every step figured out in advance. Imagine you're standing in front of a puzzle. You're trying to fit the pieces together, but every time you think you've got it, something feels off. You're staring at the pieces so hard that you don't even notice there's a bigger picture forming. You're too focused on making it work your way. Now, picture yourself stepping back from the puzzle. You stop worrying about forcing the pieces. You stop trying to control it. Suddenly, the picture becomes clear, and the pieces naturally fall into place. That's the power of letting go of overthinking. It allows you to see things clearly. You stop obsessing over details that don't matter, and you start moving forward without feeling overwhelmed. The trick is simple. Take action without waiting for perfect certainty. Don't sit around waiting for everything to feel right in your mind first. Start by doing one thing, one small action, and watch how it begins to create momentum in your life. Number 4, why letting go makes you magnetic. Now, here's a concept that might seem counterintuitive, but bear with me. The more you chase something, the more you push it away. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that the more effort you put into something, the more people, opportunities, or success you chase, the more likely you are to get it. We live in a society that celebrates hustle, effort, and relentless pursuit. But here's the truth. The harder you try to force things into your life, the more you actually block them from coming to you. Imagine you're running through a field, chasing after a butterfly. The faster you run, the more it flies away. The more desperately you try to grab it, the more it evades you. This is what happens when you try to control every outcome, every situation, and every person in your life. You're chasing after what you want, but in doing so, you push it further away. Here's what happens when you stop chasing. You start to shift from a state of need to a state of trust. You release the desperation, and that's when things naturally begin to come toward you. Let me explain it another way. When you stop grasping at everything you want, you make room for those things to come into your life organically. It's like you're holding your hands open, ready to receive, but only when your hands are empty can they actually be filled. The irony is that the more you let go, the more you begin to attract what you truly need. It's a paradox, I know, but think about it. When you let go of needing people's approval, the right people are drawn to you. When you stop obsessing over your career or your success, opportunities show up when you least expect them. You see, by letting go of control, you actually become more magnetic. People feel your authenticity, your calm energy, and your ease. And let me tell you, that's a powerful place to be. Take a moment and think about the last time you tried to impress someone. Maybe it was a job interview, or you were meeting someone new, and you found yourself trying to prove how much you could do, how successful you were, how much you were worth. How did that work out for you? The truth is, when you seek validation from others, you're telling the world that you don't have enough value on your own. But when you stop seeking it, you begin to radiate self-worth without even trying. You stop chasing, and suddenly, people want to be around you because you're no longer trying to make them see your value. You just are. Here's the trick. Let go of needing to control everything. Let go of trying to impress others. The moment you stop chasing, you free yourself from the burden of trying to prove your worth. And in doing so, you create a magnetic force around you that draws everything you want into your life. So, why does letting go make you magnetic? Because when you no longer need to hold on, you allow space for the right things, people, opportunities, and peace to naturally flow to you, and that's where your true power lies. Number 5, the day you stop performing, you start living. Let me ask you something. Who are you when no one's watching? And more importantly, why does that version of you feel so different from the one you show the world? We live in a world that rewards performance. Smile for the photo. Say the right thing. Don't ruffle feathers. We become masters at pleasing, managing impressions, being liked. But here's the problem. When you're always performing, you forget who you actually are. You edit yourself to be palatable. You mute your instincts just to keep the peace. You shrink to fit into rooms that were never designed for your real voice. And the irony? The more you seek approval, the further you drift from authenticity. The louder the applause, the more exhausted you feel, because you know deep down, they're clapping for a version of you that doesn't even exist. But something powerful happens the day you stop chasing validation. You start living for you. You stop rehearsing every sentence before you speak. You stop asking, will they like this? And start asking, do I like this? You stop waiting to be chosen and finally choose yourself. Imagine a bird that refuses to sing until someone claps for it. Silly, right? A bird sings because it's in its nature. You don't need applause to be worthy. You don't need an audience to be free. So let me ask you this. What would change in your life if you stopped performing and started simply being? Number 6, the art of inner surrender, how calm becomes power. Let's talk about something that sounds small but changes everything. Inner surrender. Now, I know Surrender sounds like giving up, like weakness, like apathy. But what if I told you, surrender isn't quitting, it's trusting? Think of a martial artist. They don't fight force with force. They redirect energy. They flow with the motion, not against it. That's what inner surrender feels like. Calm on the outside, centered on the inside, and incredibly powerful. You stop reacting to everything. You stop needing control over every outcome. You stop panicking when things don't go your way, because deep down, you trust the direction, even when you don't know the map. And here's the real twist. The calmer you are, the more powerful you become. Because in calm, there is clarity. In calm, there is strategy. In calm, there is strength. Think of a mountain. Wind howls, storms rage. But the mountain doesn't flinch. You can be that mountain. So when life throws chaos your way, and it will, you get to choose, react, or return to center. Let people misunderstand you. Let things unfold in ways you didn't expect. Smile, breathe, let go. Because your real power, it lives in your peace. The final reflection. Letting go isn't about walking away from everything. It's about walking away from what was never yours to carry. You can still care without clinging. You can still hope without obsessing. You can still love without losing yourself in the process. And maybe, just maybe, your life isn't falling apart. It's falling into place, piece by piece, moment by moment. The second you stop fighting the current, it starts carrying you exactly where you're meant to be. So, here's your challenge today. Where do you need to loosen your grip? What would happen if you trusted instead of controlled? Who could you become if you finally let go? If this message hit you deep, don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button, not just for more videos, but because you're choosing to grow. You're choosing peace over performance, freedom over fear. And that is a powerful thing. We're not here to chase. We're here to align, and every step forward you take, you're not doing it alone.